The good guys over here. Luke is a good guy. These guys are the bad guys. That's the Star Wars.
That's the only Star Wars I want.
That's the Star Wars I want to go watch.
Such an old man complaint.
I don't like it.
Back in my day,
Well,
you knew who was good and you knew who was bad.
You knew who was a good man and you knew who was bad, and that's how we liked it. Didn't move back and forth between the Force. Didn't talk crap about the Jedis. You knew your place.
Old man Star Wars, right? All right, I think we're live right now.
Dang it.
Before we go too far into old man Star Wars rants,
I believe.
that's the right way to. You'll get supper soon. Don't worry about it. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about movies and entertainment and everything going on in the world with them. And we've got lots of stuff to cover today. It is Friday the 13th.
Yes.
We've got a lot of horror movies to talk about.
That's
I feel
true.
like horror movies are making a comeback right now.
Yeah,
or
the horror genre, like they're mixing it and matching it with things. They did it with comedy, but they're hybriding the horror out. They're really, they're whoring out the horror. If you
will. Leave that. That's a Ryan quote.
Yeah. So
print that underneath his.
Well, yeah, because we got we're starting to see it seep into the X-Men universe in certain ways. Like X-Men is really finding new ways to make their stories work. So that's fun.
It's true, and so we're going to be talking about that. We've got a lot of other things to cover as well. I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
And I think the first thing we need to cover, though, right off the bat, is we have to talk about Star Wars.
Yep.
And, with the new trailer that just came out this week for The Last Jedi, Episode 8, I've seen a lot of people a little upset with it. I think thinking that some spoilers were given.
They may have given away too much, or maybe they're swerving.
So.
And I think people are also reacting to, as we were speaking about earlier, Rian Johnson's warning and then pull back from that warning. Director Rian Johnson saying, don't watch the trailer if you don't want to be spoiled, and then coming back out and saying, nah, never mind, it's fine. I don't know if he had the wrong cut or what, or if he was just, bowed down by the Disney overlords because he doesn't want to get fired, as we were also talking about.
Yes, Mr.
But so that was interesting. I think also people are very much today reacting because, the trailer's been around for a while, but now we're reacting to these new posters which show Luke Skywalker in two very different, literally, lights. One on the blue side where he looks like a nice guy, a nice fellow. One on the right side where he looks like a brooding, possibly evil dude.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the first question we want to put up here. So if you're watching live, again, we're live on Facebook and YouTube, and so we want to hear what everybody thinks. We want to get your theories, your thoughts on Star Wars and what's going to go on. And we're showing right now a picture from the IMAX posters that have come out.
Yeah.
And and it does show they've got, the Sith side and they've got, or the dark side and the Jedi side. And Luke is on both.
He kind of looks shifty in both posters, though.
Not quite sure. He's a little iffy.
He looks over and he's like, I'm going to mess you up, man.
Keelan in the live chat right now is talking about your thoughts on Star Wars and saying, let me guess, it's not realistic enough for Ryan. you're getting a reputation.
Oh, no.
But with this one, and that's the question that we proposed here at the very beginning, is we want to know, will someone turn to the dark side in Star Wars 8?
Yeah.
Because the trailer to me, I think, and I'm definitely not alone in this, it looks like Rey could be the one turning.
The trailer looks like Rey. The poster seems to suggest Luke. The first hint that we had at this was when he said the Jedi are over, and that and then we got the Last Jedi title. So there's so many things going on there, and as you were saying, it's sort of confusing to me, and I don't like to be confused about my Star Wars, but I do have a theory about The Last Jedi in general, and Luke's, not being dark or whatever. And it has to do with some of the older comics, which are now no longer canon, but could be thematically used.
Disney said they're not canon anymore.
They're not, and there's a comic called The Dark Empire in which, it's an old comic. If you haven't looked at it, it's pretty interesting stuff, but the idea was that Luke, there's all kinds of stuff that happens in between the movies, but at one point Luke goes to kill the Emperor who has been cloned. He's a clone emperor, and he, so he can live forever, essentially. And Luke joins up with him to kill him from the inside and take out all the clones, and eventually is overcome by the dark side itself and has to be brought back. So, and there's also been a lot of he turns dark for a short period, and there's also just been a lot of canon stuff where Luke is able to wield both sides of the Force. That's kind of the Skywalker curse or blessing. So I have a theory which is that he is going to take in this movie, although the trailer seems to pull away from this, so maybe I'm wrong, but that at some point in the next 2 movies that he has this yin and yang idea of the Force, which is why the Jedi need to be no longer, because almost like they're suppressing their dark side so much that it's coming out in ways that it shouldn't. Okay. And my theory is that they're going to look at the dark and the light as both necessary, both parts of ourselves.
It's got to be an equal balance,
and you have to figure out how to balance that within yourself, accept the dark inside you, and let the light prevail. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's my idea. Is he's taken this more sort of Buddhist approach to it, and that's why the Jedi are no more. The Jedi.
And that's why he's living by himself on.
He was hiding, so who knows? But there's I don't know enough to get to the specifics, but the whole Jedi thing is almost like the priesthood. That hasn't worked out so well in recent years. So I think it's riffing off of that.
Okay.
That this suppression of your own urges can't be healthy type of thing. So.
I mean, that is an interesting theory. Yeah, to see if that's how it ends up. So it turns out all along nobody's really good, nobody's really bad.
Yeah,
there's got to be a balance in there. And again, if you're watching live, let's hear what your theories are, because I'm curious what people think. I mean, I think it would be cool if they made Rey go dark.
Yeah, because she's such a bright-eyed, nice
she's
character.
Supposed to be, she's sweet, everybody likes Rey. She's the new hero. Yeah, but then just have her to be completely evil,
right?
And have that happen. Kylo Ren obviously is still conflicted just by watching the trailer.
Yeah, and we do see this scene in the trailer where, and I don't know if we've showed any of the trailer yet, but we do see the scene where he reaches out his hand to her, and that's sort of like.
But is that just cut together to look?
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. Also, there's a weird cut where they're talking about Luke is saying something and about the dark side, and it cuts to Rey, opening her lightsaber. So
yeah. But again, that could just be...
Or no, it's not Luke. Sorry, it's Snoke, I think. And he's saying, I saw great power in you. And you think he's talking to Kylo Ren, but then it cuts to Rey opening a lightsaber. And then there's a scene where she is with Snoke. Yeah. So,
so what
there's
is gonna be
so much that we don't know. And like I said, I'm just confused as hell.
And he doesn't like it.
And I don't like it.
Well, I'm definitely excited for it. I mean, this trailer, I know...
Yeah, I'm excited.
People being upset that it's showing too much. I think it's just the right amount for me.
Well,
I am definitely intrigued.
I also wanted to know what was Finn's weapon, because it looks like a lightsaber, but it's got that whole thing on the bottom of it. So it also kind of looks like one of those first order sort of like electro spear or bow weapons or whatever.
Yeah, they do need to address what his deal is.
Yeah, is he a Jedi or does he have the Force?
He definitely looks a lot angrier.
Yeah,
in this trailer, which I like. I like him a lot more rather than looking angry and like a tough guy. And then just taking a look here again, just really quick at the trailer, and I'm sure everybody's seen this at home. Kylo Ren's still one of my favorite characters. I love this conflicted.
Well, they seem to also suggest that Kylo Ren and Rey are twins. I mean, I think
that's a cop-out. I don't like that.
We'll see. I mean, because twins do run in families, so
they
kind of would make sense.
Yeah,
if they are Skywalkers.
I know. I don't like that idea. Yeah. I think it's a cop-out if they do end up doing that.
Because Leia and Han didn't tell us, they would have known.
They would have known, and also we already had the twins.
Yeah, it's like when the car goes off the cliff in the old TV show, and then they come back and they're like, it didn't really go off the cliff. They rolled out just in time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would rather that not be it. Let's see. I'm off to watch the trailer. Okay, Robert says, fine, I'm off to watch the trailer. Please stop talking until I come back.
All right, we will freeze frame now.
We'll freeze. Everybody quiet for just a minute. Well, there's a lot going on in what's happening with this, and obviously we're going to find out in 2 months anyway. On December 15th is when it comes out. The couple of other things there... Well, I mean, obviously we're seeing some of the lighter side of the new one is clearly Chewbacca and the Porg.
I didn't mind the Porg so much in there. It actually kind of worked for me when it was it sort of reminded me a little bit of young Groot, like baby Groot. I was okay. I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 again the other day. It's a great movie for testing, and I was looking at TV, and damn if that baby Groot isn't the cutest damn thing.
God dang you, baby Groot.
When he's eating the M&Ms when they're about to crash. It's freaking hilarious.
Oh, that baby Groot, you got me again.
He's adorbs. So whatever. I don't mind if they do it right. If they do it right, it works. Yeah. I hate sort of the cute cop-out, but if they do it right, it does pull at the heartstrings in all the right ways.
There have been pulls at the heartstrings.
Speaking of pulling at the heartstrings, Stranger Things, too.
Really quick before we do that, I just have to make sure people are aware of this in case you aren't aware. The Porg, which is in the trailer for the new Star Wars. It's the little weird, like, owl
baby thingy.
Baby-looking owl thing.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of photoshopping of the Porg into a million different pictures. And I just want people to be aware to look that up. We've got a couple of them here. They've been photoshopping the Porg and Chewbacca.
There's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. They've got the Borgs, Porg and the Borg. There's just a ton of them out there. Some of them are kind of disturbing. They've got the Porg as Jaws coming up under the water. Anyway, look for it out there. I think it's hilarious.
God, Pennywise.
There's some really good Photoshop versions out there
that is pretty
that you
good.
can take a look at. All right, yes, Stranger Things. And actually on YouTube, I'm seeing right now, Alex was saying Stranger Things 2.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Stranger Things? What's happening?
This trailer...
we got the last trailer.
We got the final trailer and today, I believe. And the thing is, this show has been a little bit oversaturated since it was a smash surprise hit. I mean, I think people knew it was going to be good, but it was surprising how good it was.
Right.
So they had to tread carefully. I got every single feel out of this trailer that they tried. I got goosebumps like several times.
Yeah.
They are masters at manipulating my nostalgia factor, and I don't even care.
Right.
The Duffer Brothers are just... They're good, man.
Yeah,
and I loved this trailer.
The trailer really does portray it like it looks really exciting. And we do see a lot of different stuff than we've seen before.
Yep.
It starts off even showing like a Reagan Bush 84 poster, to set the time for when you're at.
The tentacle monster seems to be omnipresent. He's ever present, I should say. He's always in it.
Yeah.
It seems to be some sort of force that Will is bringing forth, or we don't know, but it's something to do with Will. Also, if you'll remember, they were talking about how awesome the kid who plays Will's performance, the killer who plays Will, how awesome his performance was in this next season. And I think we got a lot of that in this trailer. He just looked really authentic, and I can't remember his name right now, but
I'll pull up.
He looked great. It just seems like he's going to have an integral role, and it's going to work really well. Which is interesting because he wasn't really in the first season that much. He was once he got abducted, there wasn't much more
you
Will.
didn't see him a whole lot.
So
that I'm excited to see that, and just where they're going to take this, because what did they say? There's going to be 4 seasons total.
4 seasons, and it's already plotted out. They have a Bible, so they know where it's going. They know exactly where they're going to expand it. So and that's exciting too.
I'm curious if anybody else has any theories or thoughts on Stranger Things as well. Let us know if you do. I'm just ready to watch it already.
Yeah,
that's kind of it. I'm like, okay, it's
coming out very quickly.
They have done a really good job they've like you said, it seems kind of oversaturated, but they have at least spaced it out a little bit.
Yeah, and keeping it in the conversation over and over again after over a year.
And giving something new each time. And now, okay, let's get on with this thing. Let's watch this. Are you going to binge it the entire week, the first weekend, or how will you watch it?
I have trouble doing that because my wife falls asleip after about 3 episodes of anything, and then I have to go back if I'm going to watch it. So it's really just at my peril to do so, or I just have to leave the room while she watches it. I will probably get caught up in at least 5 episodes. I would think, if not more.
Yeah, I think I'll probably do 3 or 4 to start off.
I also don't want to waste it all. Like I want to be able to ration it out a little bit.
Yeah, that's the problem of this. Let's see. Somebody named Marjorie is in the chat right now, and she just said, the upside down creatures think we're the monsters. Oh. We were the aliens.
That's the whole time. The whole time.
Well, Stranger Things 2, you can see, or season 2, you can see that final trailer that's out right now.
And it comes out the 27th, right ahead of Halloween.
Yep. So there we go. We can watch that. We've got a lot of other stuff coming up here to talk about too. So we've got a couple of superhero movie trailers, but also some different spins on superhero movies. We've got a lot of horror stuff coming up, and a lot of things coming out today that we want to get to talk about. I do have to talk about the box office just really quick, because we do this every week. We talk about we kind of grab a couple of movies that are coming out for the box office. The one I can say is that we wanted to bring up was Happy Death Day, which is coming out today, kind of along the lines of October 13th, since this is Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
and it's an interesting take, I would say.
It's Groundhog's Day meets horror.
Okay,
again, we're getting this hybrid situation, and I think that is a freaking brilliant idea. Yeah. Because first of all, she's going to get murdered 100 times, and that's going to be interesting.
We should say what the premise is. So it's this woman, she's a college student who wakes up on her birthday and is is killed in a brutal attack, and then she keeps on waking up.
She wakes up after a blackout, basically.
After a blackout, yeah.
In somebody else's dorm.
And everything starts to seem familiar, and she thinks she's lived this before, and really she's just repeating the same day over and over until she figures out who murdered her.
Who is the killer.
Mystery.
And no matter what she does in the trailer, he like shows up. Like she's driving out of town, and she gets a flat tire, and she opens the door, and he's right there.
Yeah.
So it's very sort of a cool take on this. It's getting okay reviews, but if you like horror, this is the movie to see this weekend, like by far.
Yeah.
So that should be fun.
So Happy Death Day. That's when I'll watch when it comes to Netflix.
It's not gonna. I'm
not gonna go see.
It's not gonna win any awards, but I like that premise. It's clever.
Horror is making a comeback. There's a lot of horror movies out there. All right, let's talk about a couple other trailers that we got to see this week, and this is not in the horror realm, but the other thing that's popular, comic book movies, and Justice League. Justice League coming out on November 17th. We got a new trailer with David Bowie Heroes playing in the background.
Except it's not Bowie. I don't know who it is, but
somebody else. But it's David Bowie's Heroes song.
And there's that ever-present guitar riff that seems to be the Justice League riff.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the trailer does give it a little bit more of appeal, and we all know the Justice League movies have not really hit it off, except for the exception of Wonder Woman. The DC movies. This one, I'm excited to see Aquaman. I think that'll be cool.
You mean in this movie? Yeah, I guess. He seems so like, I don't know.
That's always the thing about Aquaman.
It's like, man, I'm so cool. But no, he's like fish. But he's like the I'm too cool for Aquaman guy. Yeah.
Fish guy. Imagine how bad Aquaman
He's
smells.
Dothraki.
So Justice League, we got to see each of the different heroes are going to be a part of it. Interesting.
I agree that this trailer makes it look better than what I thought so far.
Better.
It looks like a cluttered Avengers.
Yeah.
What I don't like about it, as we were talking about, is the color tone of it a little bit. It's like everything is either starkly red or, bright blue or magenta at the beginning.
Well, to me, it looks like
very like stylized.
A Wonder Woman movie, a Superman movie, a Batman movie, and then a team-up buddy cyborg Aquaman movie, and a Flash movie, and you just like smash them all together. And they're all their own movie, but smashed together.
And as we said, the Flash, they're trying really hard to make sure the Flash is sort of their Spider-Man. Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, there we go. So
you and I are not huge DC fans, so we probably aren't the ones to break this one down. But I will say that it looked more interesting than I had expected.
Just stick with Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Something else we got to see.
I should say we're not big DC movie fans. Like, I like the characters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just these newer ones that have come out. So we got another trailer for an X-Men spinoff, and this is more talking about the newer comic book movies that are kind of mixing with more and combining the two.
Yep.
And this is for The New Mutants. We've heard about this one before that was going to be coming out, starring Macy Williams, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Heaton. And The New Mutants is kind of the story of young mutants struggling to deal with the triple threat of their powerful abilities, the onset of adulthood, and a secret organization out to control them.
Yeah, and this looks dark as hell.
It looks really dark.
Especially the walls coming in on them, which has a lot of shades of Legion, the great FX series that's also X-Men spinoff. I think this looks really cool, and it does look like they're going for the scare factor over just about anything else. Yeah. It also has Anya Taylor-Joy, who, for those who haven't seen, The Witch is a very strange and interesting horror movie that came out a couple years ago, and it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it will sort of shock you, it will surprise you, and she is amazing in it. So I have a lot of faith in her talents. She's been in some other stuff. She's been good at that too. And plus Macy Williams is in it, and she's good too.
Yeah.
So it's got a good cast. It's got an intriguing premise. So so far so good. The interesting thing is Josh Boone, the director, is the guy who did The Fault in Our Stars. He's done a lot of other stuff, but it's like a very sappy love story. It actually got good reviews, but it's like a teen love story.
Okay.
The girl is dying. It's based on a very famous book. But so I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see him go full horror as well.
All right. Well, there we go. So we'll see that. Another one, and this is just briefly, I want to talk about this because I was a fan of the 90s movie Spawn. It's kind of it's a pretty... it's a hard character to find. Not a lot of people really knew, I think, about the Spawn movie.
I remember it huge because I was a 90s kid, and it was pretty...
The soundtrack was great.
It was pretty big in the 90s. The soundtrack got way bigger than the movie did. The movie definitely had its flaws.
Yeah, so The Spawn, it's a comic book that debuted in 1992, and it follows the adventures of Al Simmons, who's a CIA mercenary who becomes a demonic creature after his betrayal and death by his friend and employer. And so the movie is going to be actually directed by the creator of the comic, Todd McFarlane, who's going to be directing it. He said it's it's apparently a low-budget movie, but it is going to be very horror and rated R. He said it's going to be really dark. And
so they're basically just shooting it like a horror movie on a really gritty idea with like no budget.
Exactly. Yeah. And he said it's a $10 million budget movie, and a studio would just get a 22-year-old punk director. I just want to be the old punk directing it. That's what he said. So he's a crabby old man, and
we like
direct
those.
his own thing. Yeah. So Spawn getting a new movie. It's going to be a horror one, and I will watch it. I will definitely watch it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be coming up pretty soon. Before we get into some of the other things that we've got here, trailers, just really quick, I wanted to address a couple of things in the chat. Craig asked, do you think the Thor film will be better than Spider-Man Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy 2? On the trailer alone, it just might be. We'll be talking more about Thor next week.
Yeah.
But it's tough to say. I think it's
those are tough comparisons.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
different movies.
They're different kinds of movies. I think that Spider-Man Homecoming did exactly what it set out to do, and so by that regard, it's hard to beat it at that. But this is a different kind of movie altogether. It definitely is more of a Guardians of the Galaxy type of movie from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I don't know if it's going to be better than Volume 2 because I really liked Volume 2, even though a lot of people thought it retread. I thought it was quite good. I think that this one may be the best Thor movie we've seen. Just that. So far, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Will it be better than those other two movies? It's hard to say.
It's kind of what you like.
But yeah, it's exactly. But I have a lot of faith in Waititi. He's done one of my favorite comedies of all time, What We Do in the Shadows.
I just watched that again.
I try to mention that as much as possible because if you haven't seen it, it's Spinal Tap with vampires, and it will blow your mind.
It is amazing.
And so I have a lot of faith in him, and that alone gives me a lot of excitement about this movie. Also, as we were talking about earlier, it sort of breaks down that Hulk Planet comic Splinter where Hulk gets kicked off and does his own adventures. It's bringing in some of those themes, which are always intriguing to me when I hear about that. So that could be cool too. So yeah, it's one of the most, it's the movie I'm probably most excited about in the comic book, genre coming up anyway.
Me too. Yeah, I agree completely. So sorry, I just wanted to address that. And again, if you have questions, comments, please drop those in on Facebook and YouTube. Somebody says I look like John Campea. I don't know who that is. So
no idea.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I'm just going to assume it is.
Yes.
Very handsome man, whoever that is.
Sexy beast.
A couple of trailers that we did get. If you are an X-Files fan, Season 11 is coming. It's expected in January of 2018. And at NYCC, at New York City Comic Con, we did get a new trailer. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson came out and talked about it. One thing that I find very interesting about this upcoming season of it is that they're going to really apparently dig in on the origin story of the smoking man.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah, they're going to try to tell more of where he came from, who he is. And
boy, he looks like he's been smoking man the whole time.
He does.
I mean, we've all gotten older, I suppose.
Yeah.
Since the last X-Men, or since the last X-Files.
Yeah. Well, I think they showed what a life of smoking will do to you.
There it is.
So they are going to kind of go into that, which I think that's pretty interesting.
He's always been one of the most intriguing characters. So
yeah, so we'll find out more about that with X-Files Season 11, expected in January 2018. Yeah. All right, a couple of things that are coming out today that you can watch along with this horror theme that we've got. Of course, they're both launching on October 13th. One of them is on Amazon, and it's a series called Lore. So Lore, it's going to be based off a podcast. There's a Lore podcast.
Right.
Where,
which right there gives me pause.
Exactly. I would agree completely, except for the fact that what it's doing is each episode, I guess, it's exploring folklore and like how that came about and what people are afraid of. Like, why are people afraid of vampires? And they do some reenactment stuff.
Yeah, it's like unsolved mysteries for folklore.
Yeah, it's kind of like in campfire tales, and exploring the dark side of human nature through historical events. So
I think this looks
a confusing way I just described it, but that's how they describe it.
I think this looks really cheesy, I have to say. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Cheesy is not always bad. I think it looks pretty cheesy. It looks
too cheesy for you.
I don't know.
It does look a little bit like A Haunting, I will say, which I am a sucker for. I will watch A Haunting.
Well, I'm sure at least one of them will be like that. They have the one where they're giving somebody a lobotomy that looks pretty messed up.
Well, Haunting's a show on I don't know what channel it's on, but they do reenactments of ghost stories like, and then she went to the kitchen to prepare dinner, but something was off. And it's all these cheesy, like, oh, a plate dropped. And it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So maybe this is along those lines. We'll find out.
It could be fun.
Out today, though, on Amazon. On Netflix, finally, Mindhunter.
This is the one I'm excited about.
You are excited about Mindhunter.
I am.
Okay, so it's David Fincher who produced and directed some of House of Cards. He's a producer on this series, and it's an adaptation of a nonfiction book by John Douglas, who's a former FBI agent and a pioneer in the field of criminal profiling. And it's about profiling serial killers, basically, isn't it? Yeah. So
it's about the first FBI agents who essentially try to get inside the mind of these people before they had the term serial killer.
Okay.
Or before it was commonly known that these people had a certain kind of psychopathic behavior that they were born with, and then they have some sort of break in their life, whether it's like a trauma at a child. They have a traumatic moment in their childhood. They didn't know any of that, back in the 70s, and these are the guys trying to figure that out. Trying to figure out why these people are doing this.
Okay.
Because they hadn't seen anything like it, previously.
I am definitely into this thing.
It looks really cool. One of the really interesting things about it is that Jonathan Groff, who is one of the stars, is playing. He previously played King George in Hamilton, King George III, who is this comedic character that only comes out twice in the Hamilton. This is a shout out to my Broadway fans, but Hamilton is this amazing musical. It's really good, and it's about the forefathers and everything. But he just shows up and sings this like hilarious song, and then he's out. But this guy's like a famous Broadway guy, so it's really interesting to see him come in and be playing an FBI agent.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting things behind the scenes on this.
Yeah, of the backstory on that. So that's Mindhunter, excuse me. And that's out on Netflix, well, today, really. So I think you can watch it right now. After this, of course.
Yeah, not right now.
Our show. No, a few other things to get to talk about. We finally get a trailer for one of the series that I'm most excited about for 2018, and it's Castle Rock. Castle Rock, and it's based on a bunch of the Stephen King books. And supposedly, this series is about the town Castle Rock, which appears in many, many novels of Stephen King, and about how they kind of tying together a bunch of Stephen King's tales. And we do have some news on some casting stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to say this. Apparently already cast in this thing, tying together a bunch of however they're going to do it. They've got Sissy Spacek, star of Carrie.
She's going to be playing her character?
I don't know. Okay. This is just who is cast. This is what the report is. Bill Skarsgård, the new Pennywise, is cast. And let's see. Yeah, so at least those two are cast in it. It's rumored that probably Cujo will have some kind of a role in it somehow. I don't know how you have Cujo in there. This is a really interesting premise. Yeah, or really terrible.
They're throwing a lot at the wall here.
They are.
And in fact, it should be mentioned that we've actually got an article coming out this weekend of all the Stephen King stuff that's in the works, and you'll be surprised how much there is. Or maybe you won't. I mean, he's always had movies and TV shows for years and years of his books, but 2017 has sort of become his year. Some of this stuff isn't going to come out for a couple years, but like a lot of things are getting the green light because Stephen King is so hot right now, Greg. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that.
Ryan certified him hot. We need a bell for the ring.
He's got the hot mark.
We need more hijinks.
Yeah, we do. We're getting there.
Well, Castle Rock, I'm excited for it. I love Stephen King.
They're throwing a lot at the wall here. We'll see if it sticks.
Well, J.J. Abrams is one of the executive producers,
and that's never a bad.
So he's stamping his name on it. So certified hot.
Yeah, we liked his Stephen King series 11/22/63. So that was fun.
That was really good. So we'll see what happens with that. The trailer is out right now. You can check that out. That's coming to Hulu sometime in 2018. The one thing I've seen a lot of with the online streaming services is they don't like giving an exact date. Yeah, most of them are like 2018. We'll see. Maybe
it'll show up.
Yeah,
you'll be online.
It'll pop up sometime.
You'll see it.
like what is the date? So we have that. Let's see. One other horror one that's going to be coming out on Netflix in a couple of weeks is
this
Alias
is a horror
Grace. Okay, let me check right here. Oh, thanks. Okay, so Alias Grace, that is based on Margaret Atwood's award-winning novel. So it's a 6-hour miniseries following Grace Marks. It's kind of based on an actual story that happened about some brutal murders, and then she kind of takes it her own way. Like inserts a detective who follows along, and this is how she thinks it would have happened.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There was a murder that happened in 1843. Brutal murders of Thomas Kinnear and his housekeeper, Nancy Montgomery.
All right.
So, anyway, that's going to be coming out.
All right, then.
It is not striking Ryan. He is not happy about this one.
I could go either way.
Let's see. Do you want to talk about Tom Ryan?
Nah, we could skip that.
Tom Clancy. Okay, let's go straight. Okay, I've got one other horror movie that's going to be coming out in 2018 that I do want to discuss. Before I do that, I'll just say Bill and Ted, something completely off the horror thing. If Keanu Reeves came out and said that there is a name for the new Bill and Ted 3 movie, Bill and Ted 3.
This is the most slowly progressing. At this pace, we should get a Bill and Ted movie by 2035, 2045 at the latest.
Yeah, so Bill and Ted Face the Music. That is going to be apparently the title. Who knows?
All right.
When and
also we know that Sylvester Stallone is going to direct and write, or at least is rumored to be directing and writing the new Creed 2.
Yes. So Creed 2, so Sylvester Stallone going to be coming back on that one.
And he's actually, he's actually taking the helm. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So there we go. So those are a couple of the side things that we knew. So finally, I want to bring up this, and this is has to do with a horror movie that I will be honest, I have never seen because the premise of it bothers me too much.
Right.
So The Strangers, which came out in 2008, it details this family at a house, and then random people just show up to torment and torture them.
This came out sort of at the end of the torture porn era, where that was really hot right then, like Saw 6-ish, right?
Yeah, right around in there.
So they're bringing it back.
They're bringing it back, and now it's going to get a sequel. So Strangers Pray at Night. It's coming out March 9th, 2018. We finally got a first look at it, at least a picture. There's nothing more really than that. But the premise is a family's road trip takes a dangerous turn when they arrive at a secluded mobile home park to stay with some relatives and
That's not going to be good.
Mysteriously deserted. Under the cover of darkness, 3 masked psychopaths pay them a visit to test the family's every limit as they struggle to survive. Well, I guess they do pretty much say what it is, so that's...
I mean, it was even scary when you started with the mobile home park thing.
Yeah,
I was already worried. Yeah. And then...
No, that is just too real for me. It's just like the Purge movies. Yeah. I can't watch the Purge movies. Yeah. I've tried. Just,
it's a little too graphic.
No, I don't like it. I don't know. It unnerves me too much. But you are going to get a new Strangers movie.
If you want something in that vein, you should check out Hush, which we've talked about before.
Yes.
It's a
Riley
really
behind the scenes
fun
brought
movie.
that up.
Yeah,
exact same.
It's she's deaf, and there's like an attacker around her house, and it's this amazing suspenseful movie.
Hush is a really good.
It's without all the torture porn. It's just a really good thriller.
It's being noted in the chat by Keelan, who agrees to go to a secluded mobile home park.
Exactly. That's your problem.
I'll tell you right now.
That's where you're wrong.
I won't watch it. I can watch a lot of horror movies. I like all the kinds of the supernatural stuff. That stuff's too real.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I just can't. So
just watch Hush. You'll be okay.
I've watched Hush.
Oh,
I did watch Hush. And Hush I could handle.
Yeah.
Although it still unnerves me. Well, anyway. Bottom line, there we go. So that's going to be coming out in 2018. A lot of stuff for you to check out this weekend, though, and just kind of wrapping up our Star Wars thing. Again, if you have sequels, send those in, or sequels. If you have theories,
or sequels,
whatever. Yeah, send those in to us.
I have the Lost Star Wars sequel.
Nobody knows about it. It's just me. Podcast@digitaltrends.com. You can send us an email, or always comment on anything that we have up. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and Stitcher and all those places. Any final theories that you have for I guess you kind of laid out your theories.
Yeah, so I mean, I've given
You've given the theory.
And it's obviously right.
Well, it's clearly until 2 months from now when it's proven wrong.
Yeah, that happened a couple times.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure and bring this back up.
We'll check it out.
All right, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, we're live every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, talking about everything movies and television and entertainment. Send us your suggestions and let us know what you think we should watch. And thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with another episode.